Hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our center court session with the London Business School. We're going to explore two programs that they have, a Master's in Management and a Master's in Analytics and Management. And to talk about those two programs, we have two terrific guests, Oliver Ashby, who's the program director for those two programs at the London Business School, and a current student, Fangchen Wang, who's pursuing a master's in analytics and management. He joined the program in August of last year. He will graduate in August of this year, although he'll complete his studies in June of this year. Fangchen has a really interesting background. He's done internships with IBM and Roland Berger in China, in Shanghai and Beijing. And he has an internship to start in September in Dubai with Delta Partners. So welcome, Oliver and Fangchen.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
So Oliver, tell us a little bit about the programs, who's generally attracted to them, and who does it best serve?
Sure. We have the wonderful Fangchen here today, who's on our MAM program. So I think he is an excellent case in point of what the MAM seeks to serve. But it's essentially a master's in analytics and management. And I sort of came from consulting to London Business School to be the director of this program. What I realized in my experience working in management consulting, I was working at the Boston Consulting Group before here, is that you have this interesting world in consulting, and I think it's replicated across a number of different industries, whereby the requirements for the roles that we're seeing, and indeed the roles themselves, are becoming far more technical, both in terms of what people are doing, but also what they need to understand in order to deliver to clients. Now, I think that's probably true in banking, certainly true in industry, and of course technology, it goes without saying. I think what we're trying to achieve with this program is to deliver two really important skill sets. I think that is enhance and increase the those who already have some technical abilities, but perhaps want to apply those technical abilities in a business setting, and also expand those. So learn new skills, perhaps new coding languages, new styles of analytics, new understandings of technical functions within businesses, but also marry that with a wide set of business acumen in other areas. So that's how you deliver in person, your communication style, how you run meetings, and also general management like strategy, marketing, accounting, and finance. And we believe, and I believe, that on this program, the fusion of all of these elements together makes you a pretty formidable player in the modern world of business. And whether you're consulting, banking, technology, or really anything else, this understanding to bridge across the technical and the management is where future leadership lies. So that's the MAM in a nutshell. And my sort of elevator pitch on what the MIM is, the Master in Management program, which has been going now for about 10 years at London Business School, is really a general management program designed for people at the early point of their careers. Most people have come from either business undergrad background or any kind of undergrad background, really may have done some internships, but really we're drawing deep on all of the different expertise there is at London Business School in all of our different subject areas, so that when you come out of the program, you have a well-rounded understanding of how to be a good business operator in the modern world. Yes, it's not as technically deep as the MAM, but you still take on board technical components, understand a bit of coding, but also you're getting that rounded skill set of management, accounting, finance, marketing, strategy, as well as developing really core skills. And I guess the objective here is we really give you a leg up into that first business role. And once you're in that first business role, help you really succeed in that role, which I think is underrated as well. Everyone seems to fixate on getting the job, but actually these jobs are not necessarily that easy. So once you're there, how do you make the most of your experience there and really set yourself up for success in the future?
And both these programs are 10-month long, and they are residential full-time programs, right?
Yeah, well, so they're 12 months really, but as you can imagine, we front load quite a lot of the heavy lifting elements of the components. So the last 2 months is mainly project-based work, so it kind of depends on how you manage your project we have this thing called London Lab in the summer at the end of the program. Really, that's doing an actual consulting project. Now, for Fang Chen, that's a more technical focused consulting project, but for our MIMS, that can really be anything in business. And so you have a more flexible schedule, but can be intense depending on the week to week. But
and
yes,
Oliver,
it's a one-year program.
I see here is that, many schools have masters in business or data analytics, but few schools do what you do, combining the masters in analytics and management. I'm assuming, therefore, that there's more kind of managerial content in your analytics program. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we're trying to do is marry those two worlds. And one of the problems I saw when I was back in my business role is actually, surprisingly, I think, and where there is a big gap across all kind of businesses, is a sort of siloing effect between those people in technical roles and those people in management roles. Now, it has come on leaps and bounds in the last few years, no doubt, but I still ultimately think there is a lack of, and a talent skills gap, which a lot of people are talking about, those people that can bridge those two worlds, i.e. those people who understand and can indeed perhaps do some deep data science-esque analysis and statistical analysis, and use things like coding languages, or even understand them, and those people who are in boardrooms conveying those ideas to the client. Now, I think what we try to achieve with this, as I was saying just before, is the people who I think are most primed to succeed in the future are going to be those people who are uncomfortable and indeed bridge those two worlds.
Yeah. So your degree is not for someone who wants to crunch numbers in a back room, but someone who wants to understand the overwhelming amount of data that companies are swimming in today, and converting it into decision making, and then being persuasive during a presentation to senior management.
Well, actually, I think what it's about is you can do anything, right? If you want to, you can crunch numbers, right? And you understand management concepts. If you want to be in the boardroom, you can do that. But I think the ability to have a transitional understanding of both of these worlds and sit between them is really critical. And just having that flexibility in this world where we're going now is hugely beneficial.
And your MIM program, as you pointed out, is for pre-experienced candidates, those who do not have a lot of full-time work experience or none at all. Your master's in analytics and management has a broader age range. Is that right?
Well, they're really about the same. I mean, typically the idea is that if you have done, most people have not done a full-time job for longer than a year or so. So some people will have done. But yeah, the idea is really you're at the early stage of your career, distinct from the MBA. You're not coming in here with a couple, 3, 4, 5 years work experience. That's the key differentiator.
Right, great. Fang Chen, now you're 22, you're about to turn 23. So
Yes.
You are on the young side for sure. What led you to pursue a master's in business?
I think it's because I did my undergrad in computer science, so I've always wanted to do something that's kind of different. Because in my undergrad, I was trying out internship experiences in like computer science, software development, quantitative finance, and also consulting. And I've grown to realize I actually prefer doing something that involve more client-facing work, and also like related to consulting. So that's what got me first interested in doing a business program. I think that's what got me first interested in doing business education.
And how did you choose your program?
I think I mostly because I wanted something that can serve as a bridge between my technical skills, which I already have, and the kind of like point I want to be in 3 or 5 years being a consultant. So I was doing a lot of, I first chose the programs. I want to do a business analytics program. And then of all the programs out there, I was doing some research across regions and also where I want to work in 3 years, and also what kind of programs or what kind of schools can do that for my career progress. So I think that's how I did my choosing.
Yeah, and I wonder if you think because you're in this program at this young age, an MBA is not likely in your future, or is it?
I'm sorry, are you asking if I want to do an MBA somewhere in my future?
Yeah.
I think I haven't really thought about that far into the future at this point. I mean, I'm definitely going to go with internship and hopefully it converts. I'm going to work for a few years. And then if I feel it's necessary for me to do an MBA in order for me to go further into my career, of course, I'm going to do it. But I think it really depends on if I need it in my future career.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people might think if you get a master's at a younger age in something like business analytics and management, you may not need an MBA later on. And some people do think that these programs on some level cannibalize an MBA education later on. But I do know that a lot of people who get an MBA have advanced degrees already, like you're going to have. Oh, so you joined in August. Tell us about your learning experience. What has it been like for you? What are the surprises that you experienced?
I think the learning experiences has been divided into three terms. I think for first term, we will mostly focus on doing some like coding programs and also some technical skills. And for like R and like Python and stuff. And for the second term, the third term, we're more focused on how to use those coding skills, how to use those technical skills into real world scenarios. We're using those skills that we learned in the first term to actually address some business problems that some clients was facing about like 3 years ago, like 2 years ago. So I think that's how we divided the learning experiences. And then starting from now, we're going to do the global experiential learning, which is we're going to go to a target country. A faculty member is going to lead the team of students to go to a target country like San Francisco or like Colombia or like South Africa, like a lot of other countries out there as well, to really dive deep into one of the industries in that targeted community and then to do company visit and then do a business challenge week there. And then after that, when we get back from the global experiential learning thing, we're going to do a London lab thing, which I think Olive also mentioned, which for us, it's going to be a data science project for one of the clients out there in London. We're going to do that for 2 months. We're going to actually collaborate with the client's executive team members and use their real world data to deliver a deliverable at the end of this project. I think that's how the entire project is structured.
Yeah, that's laid out quite nicely, I think. Do you know where you're going to go for your overseas?
I'm going to San Francisco.
Oh,
I'm
you
actually
are?
leaving this Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, how about that? Terrific. So I wonder how your learning experience differs from your undergraduate education in China. In terms of how the classroom feels and how the teaching differs?
I would say here the teaching I think there are like mainly two kind of differences. The first difference is about how the professor is perceived and how the professor deliver his teaching in the classroom, in the sense that like teachers and professors at LBS were mostly more interactive, and they would like give you more chances for you to like speak up, to give you more chances to deliver, like to give out your perspectives, to share your insights in the classroom as well. Whereas in undergrad, I was mostly absorbing the knowledge and absorbing the kind of skill sets from my professors. I think the second part is here. In a business kind of education, even though we're studying a lot of heavily technical stuff, we're still studying that under the scenario of a business case. So I think that's vastly different in the sense that when I was doing my computer science degree back in China, we would mostly still focus on the technical side of the entire curriculum, whereas here we would be focused more on how to use the technical models to solve an actual business case. I think that are the most like the two key differences.
So it sounds like your education here is more pragmatic.
Yeah.
And in China, it was more theoretical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how is the course load? Now, I imagine for someone who has an undergraduate degree in computer science, that first section of the course on coding would be really an easy uplift. Am I right?
Yes, I would say like the course itself, especially in first term, when we're doing the entry-level stuff for computer science and for coding, it was pretty easy in that sense. But also, I think everybody is definitely very busy at LBS, no matter what kind of previous background you've had, no matter if you feel it's very easy to do the curriculum itself, because you have to balance socializing and you have to balance recruiting with your curriculum as well, because most people are doing recruiting in the first term. So as myself, I was also doing heavily recruiting for the first term and for for a large part of second term as well. So I would say it's definitely still a very stressful and also very rigorous program experience in that sense.
Have you had a favorite class?
I think my favorite class is about visualization, is about data visualization. Because basically for the entire class, okay, so this is how the class is structured. We basically studied for a while about the kind of visualization tools which I already knew from undergrad, and then we were doing a case. Each one of us is doing an individual case, and then we were, it's not individual, it's a group project case, and then we did the presentation to the entire class. I would say it's actually kind of surprising for me, as in how we could actually use kind of coding skills to deliver a really good visualization to make sure that our audiences understand and also would trust us on what we have to say about this problem. So I think that's pretty new to me back then. That was pretty new to me back in the first term. So I really liked it.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, making data or presenting data in a more visual way is the way to make data more convincing and more understandable, which is a key part of to making use of business analytics. So Oliver, tell us a bit about the diversity in the classroom for this program and what your graduates ultimately do when they get their degrees.
Sure. Well, so we have a bit of a blend really of people who are coming from. I think the reality is you have probably, Frank Cheng, I hope you don't mind me saying, you're on probably the top end of the skill level and coming into the program in terms of relevant skill. There'll be some people coming from computer science, but really we also look at anyone with, I think, people with sufficient transferable quantitative skills. It is, of course, a one-year program, so while if you have a computer science degree, obviously things may be more pedestrian right at the beginning. Obviously, if you don't have any quantitative skill, really, it's going to be too challenging, really, to catch up. So typically, what we see is a range of people who come from lots of different engineering backgrounds and quantitative statistical backgrounds, who are able to, we think, manage the workload of the MAM in general, and that there's quite a lot of diversity in that. So even engineering by itself, it spans a wide variety of different disciplines that people come from. Of course, like any London Business School program, is incredibly internationally diverse. So you're talking about no real majority of nationality, study groups with a real blend of different students in them. Yeah, does that somewhat answer the question? Did I get the second part? Yeah.
And then what kind of careers do they pursue?
Yes, sorry, that was the second part of the question. So yeah, I think it's we have again a pretty wide variety. So as I was saying before, you'll see a fair few people going into things like consulting, and that's partly driven by the appetite for consulting firms that have people with more technical ability to fundamentally, one of the key things that we teach on this program, which I think is absolutely essential in the modern business world, is how to handle, understand, manage large quantities of data and create an output that's meaningful in a big business context. And so pretty much now for me, any business job will find value in that. And that opens a lot of doors to us. So yeah, consulting, finance, industry, really, I don't see a massive difference between the jobs that are available to our generalist management students and our MAM students. It's just that there's probably an unlock for a number of jobs that possibly our general management students wouldn't have the technical know-how or ability to do. So it's somewhat expansive in that sense.
So you have a full gamut of companies seeking these graduates, whether it's BCG, whether it's Microsoft or Google or Amazon, whether it's
and these graduates are in demand, right? So we have in our most recent, and it's just come out, our most recent employment report, which you can download off the website if you'd like to look at it in more detail. But I believe that 94% of our MAM graduates received and accepted an offer from the last class within three months of graduation. And bear in mind, that was the class who went through the COVID pandemic as well. So remaining, often they were not on campus, not able to do all of the kind of how it would have normally worked. So even that's very impressive, I think. And so yeah, I mean, highly employable, often having multiple job offers, and rightly so, because like Fang Cheng, they're some of the most fantastic people I've come across in my experience. And I'd fall over myself to hire him and others. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think employers most appreciate about your graduates?
I think so. First and foremost, I think that the world that we live in now, and it's true of all London Business School programs, is I think, and this is a personal opinion, your kind of ability to succeed in a role. One of the fundamental enabling principles is your ability to be an effective operator in a diverse team. Beyond your skills, right? Because actually, when we look at these top business schools and the people coming out, it's unlikely the limiting factor is going to be your technical ability, in my experience, right? Yes, okay, for a small minority, that might be the case. The limiting factor is your ability to affect change and work effectively with the people around you. That's what we do really well at LBS on all of these programs, but the MAM, the MIM are no different. On the MAM, yes, there's an added technical element, but what I see as a real challenge in organizations now is, as you increase the amount of technical complexity into the projects and the works being done, is that communication across teams, particularly ones who do not share the same skill set, is absolutely vital. And actually, I think that's where the MAM is critical, because quite simply, you need to be able to communicate accurately what's going on a project at all times across people who don't do the same jobs, and also have a good working relationship. This, I think, is hugely underrated as a skill. So I think for me, that is the standout thing. It's that ability to work effectively in a diverse team, technical or non-technical.
And Oliver, your average intake in this program annually is what?
So on this program, it's actually around 80.
Mm-hmm.
And the MIM is 290.
Great. And I'm imagining that in the MIM in particular, you divide up the class into sections of some kind.
Yeah, so we split it into 3 class sizes as well, 3 streams.
Mm-hmm. Great. Fang Cheng, tell me what kind of job you want once you graduate. Do you have a specific industry that you want to work in?
I think right now I'm pretty settled that I'm going to be working a strategy consulting and venture capital firm that are specialized in TMT industry. I would say this is probably already what I wanted 1 year back when I was applying for business schools. This is exactly what I wanted. Because first of all, I want to work in somewhere like more client facing, which is strategy consulting. But I also wanted to utilize my background in STEM, and also in the sense that I'm really interested in technology. I'm really interested in the TMT industry in general. So yeah, I think that answers the question about what I'm working with.
Yeah, so you had an advantage coming into the program because you knew exactly what you wanted to get out of it. Oliver, I wonder if there are tools or assessments that help students who aren't so directed when they enter the program in terms of aligning their interest and their passions with a particular job.
Yeah, I think business school is great for that in general, right? I mean, I think the key thing that, and this is where I think the peer group comes, because the great thing is, you come to school like LBS, you have this dedicated career center who are here to help you understand more about industries, network with industries, go to job interviews, right? Help you prepare for all of that piece. But I actually think the really important thing for me is the ability to meet and understand peers, because most, and Fang Cheng, I suspect, is no exception. Pretty much everyone has done some kind of internship or even had a job before they come, or have a perspective on a role, right? So what really helps is you only get so much by reading this sort of blurb about a company or what a company does or what a role is. Really, what you get from business school is spending some time with people, and actually even some of the other students in the business school, like our MBA students or other students, and taking that time to actually find out what these jobs entail, right? That's absolutely critical to find out if it is what you want to do, what motivates you and stimulates you. Actually having access to people who are doing this who are doing these roles day in, day out. And so, for example, management consulting, I think you can get a first-hand perspective of what that entails versus maybe a more maybe a technical role. You know, what is it you're doing every day? And that's what the LBS and business schools can help you with. But I think, you know, as well as all of the resources available to you to help you get where you need to be.
Right. Now, I wonder what the 3 highlights of the experience have so far been. And I'll ask Feng Cheng that question, although I imagine that your experiential immersion in San Francisco is going to be one of them, as will your ultimate project with a client. But for now, what have been the highlights for you?
I think honestly, yeah, you're definitely right. I'm absolutely looking forward to the San Fran thing and also the London Lab thing, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the top 2 of my experiences in the entire year. But another highlight I wanted to say is the Euro Out. It's the Out in Business thing. It's the LGBTQ conference that we organized here at London Business School Out in Business Club. I think that was definitely my highlight for last year because it's the leading and also it's the biggest conference focused on LGBTQ rights in the workplace and also in consulting, in banking, and also in technology in the entire Europe. And it was actually epic, and we absolutely also enjoy the kind of contribution from a wide variety of stakeholders. And also we were able to get, I think we had the biggest funding from the LBS, from the school's program office and also from the committee as well. So I think that was definitely my highlight, and I was able to communicate and also make connection with so many senior people from the industries. And I think that would definitely help me progress in my future career. I really think that would be definitely one of my highlights.
That's great. What advice do you have for someone interested in the program? Thank you.
For LBS or for just the MAM program?
For the program that you're in.
I would say, first of all, definitely, I think if you really know what you want out of the program, when you already figure that out, when you come to LBS, that's definitely going to help you further utilize the kind of resource that LBS can provide for you. So I think the first piece of advice I would give out is to really try to figure out what you want out of the program before you actually come here. And the second part is always don't be afraid to reach out the LBS community. I think we are really proud in the sense that we are really helpful, and also we definitely have a very close and tight-knit like alumni community. So don't be afraid to reach out to alumni for help, even if you are only a prospective student. We definitely are willing, and also we would love to help you in that sense. I think that would be 2 advice. Okay.
Oliver, now there are a lot of business analytics programs out there. If you were to identify what are the distinctive elements of yours and how it really stands out, what would they be? I'm sure the immersion in different parts of the world would be one of them again. The project with a client that actually makes you roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty would be another one for sure. What else?
I think one of the biggest thing, I think this is also why I chose LBS. It's because of its diversity of its cohort. I think here at LBS, we definitely have I think it's it's not even one of, it's the most diverse cohort in all of the business analytics programs out there in the top business schools. Because I was choosing from Columbia's MSBA program and also LBS MAM program. And the one thing that I really like and also that make me choose LBS is because LBS has the most diverse cohort, and I will be able to collaborate with people from different industry background and also people from different ethnicity background as well. I think that would be one of the best things about the program, in my opinion.
True. And I will say, having lived in London, that London is a big draw because it is one of the world's greatest cities. It's dynamic, it's lively, there's a lot to do. You would learn a lot just by living in London for a year, I would think. And I know, Feng Cheng, for you, this is your first time in London. You came from China. What was your experience like experiencing this city?
I would say the city is definitely, I really like the city in the sense it has so much different stuff to offer compared to the cities I've lived in like US and also in China. In the sense that London, of course, it's very diverse, it's very cultural. No matter what you're interested in, you're always going to find a community where you can belong, and also you're going to find like interesting things to do here in London, no matter what is the thing that you're interested in. So I think that's definitely, yeah, you're right. London is definitely one of the biggest draws that why I chose LBS as well.
What's your favorite thing to do in London when you're not studying?
Um, I I like playing tennis, but I think that's something you could also do elsewhere.
Sure.
I really like to go to the museums. I think there are a lot of different museums here to explore. I would say that's one of the most interesting things about London as well.
Well, you can play tennis anywhere, but you can't go to Wimbledon anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Oliver, finally, what advice do you have for prospects who are interested in either of your two programs?
Sure. I mean, so I think the best thing to do is to speak to people who've either been on the program or people like me who run the program, or indeed our admissions guys who are very knowledgeable. But also have a think about what it is you want to achieve from these kind of programs, what kind of environments you want to be in. As you said, like London is a big feature. What makes sense in the context of what you want to do. And think about the investment and whether that makes sense to you. But I think, yeah, the best way is to bounce, I think, these conversations off other people. But yeah, I know that our admissions team are always very happy to speak to people, answer any questions they have, as well as also put them in touch with current students too. So yeah, I think have some of those conversations and beyond. The website and the brochure are great. You can see the kind of key statistics, but I think that really helps bring it to life.
Yeah, that's really true. And if you can visit, I think, it's one thing to have conversations with admissions or with current students, but to go and visit a school and perhaps sit in a classroom and experience it in the flesh is really a helpful thing if it's possible for you to go and do that. I want to thank Oliver Ashby, the program director for both MIM and the Masters in Analytics and Management at the London Business School. And Fencheng Wang, good luck to you completing the program. You're going to finish up in June and graduate in August, and then head to Dubai for a job with a consulting firm. Congratulations on that. And for all of you out there, if you're interested, first step, check the website. London Business School has an excellent website. We'll give you a lot of detail on both programs. Secondly, contact admissions or go to one of the admissions events that explore the program in depth. Get to know the admissions staff. Ask to speak to a few ambassadors who can tell you what it's like on the front lines of the program. And if you can visit, London's a great place to go. You will never regret it. Hey, this is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.